Hey guys, it's me, Meteor, and before I begin, let me talk about that awesome Kirby Switch trailer. Oh my goodness, it has helpers, has combining abilities, animal friends making cameos, HD, and Wispy Wizard of the Purple Haze. Could it really be? No, hold on, self. Don't get yourself too excited for this game. You know what happened last time. Okay, maybe it wasn't the last time, but before Kirby Squeak Squad released, they promised the world of that game. So many features were coming out that people wanted for years, and we were hyped for it. However, once the game launched, we realized that most of its promises kinda fell flat, and it pretty much failed executing all of them. I will admit that after playing Squeak Squad again, I don't hate the game nearly as much as I used to. In fact, there are far worse Kirby games out there. But I will still say that Squeak Squad is one of the most disappointing Kirby games to be released. A lot of you are wondering what I found so disappointing about Squeak Squad. Well, I'm going to start at the bottom with a few minor gripes I had, and work right up to some serious issues. First off, Squeak Squad talked about affecting the environment using your abilities, which overall is a pretty neat idea. Except this idea was rarely ever used, and when it was, it didn't really change anything more than other games already have. They also showed us how you could combine abilities in Squeak Squad just like Kirby 64. You can make a fire sword. Neat! Except you're limited in your options of what you can combine. You can really only make a sword with fire, ice, and electricity, or a bomb, electricity, and ice. You couldn't combine anything else. That's not even the worst part. You can't even combine those abilities to begin with unless you get the ability scrolls for Sword and Bomb. Sword, you get in World 6-1, and Bomb, you get in World 7-3. You know, near the end of the game. Even when you can combine them, it doesn't even do much anyway. Most enemies die in one hit, so the effect looks primarily cosmetic. Ability scrolls were a pretty neat idea. Basically, by finding one of these scrolls, you could enhance that ability's power. While some were great ideas, like Sleep being able to heal, the ability scroll for Animal seemed like it should have been with the moveset to begin with. Without that scroll, Animal was really boring to use. Ghost never even got an ability scroll, and it really could have used one. Ghost is a pretty neat idea. You could possess the enemy and control it like a puppet to use its abilities. Unfortunately, the attacks do peanuts, and you can't go down ladders or down through anything. Not to mention, you don't get it until World 8. Being able to take two unwanted abilities though and combine them into another random ability is quite nice. However, you only have 5 spaces in your stomach, and treasure chests take up one of those spaces. So if you want to get to the entire level with all 3 treasure chests, you have 2 spaces for abilities, so choose wisely. Then there's the issue of finding the treasure. This game tends to do the 2-path thing a lot, where one will lead to the treasure and one path will not. But there's no way to tell which one is the right path because they're 2 identical doors. Having multiple paths would be completely fine if this was Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, which is a Metroidvania. But it's not. This is a linear game, and if you miss the wrong path, you can't go back for it. You have to play the level all over again. One level even does this for all 3 treasures, making it pretty much impossible to get all 3 on your first shot. To be honest, I could look past all those faults, as long as the final boss and story is good. I mean, Kirby games are pretty much known for that, right? You know where I'm going with this. The fact that Kirby would storm DDD's castle without even asking him questions over a slice of cake goes completely against Kirby's character. Kirby's never shown any signs of selfishness before this. In fact, he's selfless and naive to a fault, helping people that would even betray him later. Of course, Meta Knight just running off without telling Kirby anything about the chest doesn't really help matters either. When we finally got to the end though, man, it was building up to so much. First we fought Dark DeRoach, and he was awesome. He was very powerful, and then we saw the true culprit come out of him as we got the triple star, Dark Nebula, chasing down this star on the final path with that mysterious music in the background. You knew something was happening. Healing everywhere. It was leading up to so much. I could feel it. It was going to be such a great battle. And then finally, we get to fight the culprit himself, Dark Nebula, a being of dark matter with the ability to change his ability. This is so great. This is... Oh, he's already dead. Oh, I see what's going on. This is just its first form, and his second form is gonna come around and... Oh, that was it. Huh. I mean, they could have at least given each element its own health bar. You know, like the boss it was based on. But they didn't do that. Instead, the boss just ended up being completely pathetic, and on top of the rest of the game, just made it feel like a complete and utter disappointment. So, does that mean I think the new Kirby Switch game will also be a disappointment and overhyped? No! That being said, I don't think there will be as many abilities to combine as there were in Kirby 64. However, it seems that these abilities have a lot more of an effect being combined than the ones in Squeak Squad. Aside from that, I can't see this game being a disappointment at all. The only way it could be a disappointment is if they cancel it. Anyway, I've said my piece. I'm storming out of here. See you guys next time.